The question hit like a freight train. You know what's amazing about AOC? Donald Trump stood center stage in CBS Studio 57. Prime time, 8 p.m. Eastern. 400 people packed into a space meant for 300. Hot, tense. Half the audience wearing MAGA hats, the other half wearing AOC merchandise. All of them ready for blood. Cameras everywhere. 10 million Americans watching at home, maybe more. Social media streaming live. Margaret Brennan sitting between Trump and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, trying to look like she had control of this situation. She didn't. Trump leaned forward. That New York businessman energy. Aggressive. Direct. The kind of presence that fills a room whether you like it or not. She shows up here in a designer outfit that costs more than most people in Queens make in a month. And she wants to lecture me about helping the working class. He paused. Let it hang there. 5 seconds. 10. The audience stirring, murmuring, building. That's rich. Actually, no, she's rich. That's the point. Let's talk about that. AOC shifted in her seat, still confident, still composed. That expression she wore when she thought she was the smartest person in the room, the one that said, "I've dealt with worse than you." Trump's eyes never left her. Folks, what you're about to hear is something special. 5 rounds. 5 examples of the biggest hypocrite in Congress. And believe me, that's saying something. We're going to talk about her fancy parties, her luxury lifestyle, the jobs she killed, the people she hurt, all of it, everything. The studio audience leaned forward collectively. This was it. This was what they came for. The confrontation everyone had been waiting for. Trump versus AOC, Queens versus Queens, billionaire versus socialist, reality versus fantasy. Margaret tried to interject. "Mr. Trump, if we could just—" Trump raised one hand. "Not rude, just a hand. Not now, we're going to start with the dress, the famous dress. The $35,000 dress while working people couldn't afford groceries." But first, he turned to the camera. Direct address. If you've been waiting for someone to finally call out AOC for her hypocrisy, hit that like button right now. Share this. Trust me, you're going to want your friends to see this because what I'm about to show you, nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody. He sat back, got comfortable, smiled that Trump smile, the one that comes right before something terrible happens to someone who probably deserves it. Let's go. Trump didn't waste time. No slow build, just attack. So, picture this. He gestured broadly, painting the scene. And this is real, folks. You can't make this up. The Met Gala. You know what that is? Fancy party. Very fancy in New York for rich people to celebrate being rich. Tickets cost $35,000 per person. $35,000. That's more than a lot of people make in a year. AOC's jaw tightened just slightly. But enough. Trump saw it. The cameras caught it. And AOC shows up wearing a dress, custom-made, beautiful dress. Actually, I'll give her that says, "Tax the rich," on the back. Tax the rich. He drew out each word. At a party full of rich people who paid $35,000 to be there, including her. The irony is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Someone in the audience laughed. Nervous laugh. Others joined, the sound spreading. Actually, Trump's timing was perfect. You'd need one of those fancy knives they use at the Met Gala. Regular knives aren't good enough for the socialist socialite. The nickname landed, stuck. You could see it. AOC's face reddened slightly. Her hands moved from resting on the armrests to gripping them. White knuckles. Trump stood up, started pacing, energy building. This was his element. But let me tell you something. While AOC was at that party wearing that dress, drinking champagne with celebrities and millionaires and billionaires, there were people watching. Regular people, working people. People who'd sent her money, believing she'd fight for them. He stopped pacing, turned to face the audience, scanned the crowd. How many people here donated to AOC's campaign? Raise your hands. Come on, don't be shy. Raise them. Slowly, hands started going up. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20. Maybe 40 hands total. Donors who'd believed, who'd sent money, who were about to learn where it went. Trump pointed at them one by one. These people, your people, AOC, the ones you claim to represent, they sent you money, small donations, $50, $100, whatever they could afford from their paychecks. Money they needed for rent, for groceries, for their kids. And you took it. You cashed those checks. And then you went to the Met Gala. The hands stayed up. 40 faces watching her. AOC couldn't look at them, eyes down, staring at her notes. Let me tell you about one of them. Trump's voice changed, softer, more personal. Her name is Maria, just Maria, one donor out of thousands. But her story, it's everyone's story. He walked into the audience, stopped next to an elderly woman in row 8, small, thin, hands folded in her lap. Maria sent AOC $50. Maria is 68 years old. Worked her whole life as a waitress in Queens, your district, Alexandria. Maria lives on Social Security now, $2,200 a month. After rent, $1,800. She has $400 left for everything. Food, medicine, bills, $400. That's it. That's all she's got after 40 years of work. The studio had gone completely silent. Cameras locked on Maria, on Trump standing next to her, on AOC staring at her hands. So when Maria sent you $50, it wasn't just $50. It was groceries for a week. It was medicine she needed. $50 was everything to Maria. He put a hand on Maria's shoulder. Maria's granddaughter was having a birthday, 6th birthday. Maria wanted to buy her a doll she'd been asking for, $35 at Target. But Maria believed in you, AOC. Believed you'd fight for people like her. So Maria sent the $50 for the fight. Maria nodded, eyes glistening. 2 months later, Maria watched TV, saw you walk into the Met Gala, saw that dress, saw you partying with the exact people you claim to oppose. And you know what Maria did? Trump looked at AOC. She still wouldn't meet his eyes. She called her daughter, and she explained why there was no birthday present that year. Why Grandma couldn't afford the doll. Because Grandma had sent her money to someone she believed in. Someone who was too busy partying with billionaires to remember where the money came from. The studio erupted. Not applause. Rage. Pure rage. Booing started in the back, spread forward. The 40 donors were shouting, "Where's our money? Give it back! Fraud!" AOC's hands went to her throat, panic breathing. Margaret tried to restore order, but nobody was listening. Trump let it build. When he finally spoke, his voice cut through the chaos. $35,000 for the ticket. $35,000 for the dress. $70,000 total for one night, while Maria's granddaughter got nothing for her birthday. He walked back to center stage. You know what's amazing? That $70,000, it came from people like Maria. Maria's $50 times $1,400 donations. That's how you bought that dress. AOC tried to speak, her voice defensive. It was a statement. I was making a point about fashion as protest. Trump's voice dripped with sarcasm. Maria can't afford fashion. Maria can barely afford food. But you took her $50 and wore it on your back to a party with people you claim to oppose. She tried again. I was invited. It was an opportunity to— Oh, you were invited. Trump's eyes widened in mock amazement. Maria wasn't invited. Maria was working at a diner serving people like you. People who can afford $35,000 tickets while you were wearing her granddaughter's birthday present. AOC's face had gone pale. Maria stood up slowly. Trump offered his hand. When Maria spoke, her voice was small, but carried through every microphone. I trusted you. 4 words, that's all. I watched your speeches. I believed you cared about people like me. I sent you money I didn't have because I thought you'd use it to help. And you went to a party. She sat down hard. The studio collapsed into grief. Trump spoke again, harder. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, under these lights, in front of these cameras, in front of Maria, and everyone who donated to you. Simple question. Did you or did you not attend the Met Gala while working families in your district struggled to pay rent? AOC's voice was a whisper. The tickets were— It was for the museum. Yes or no? Silence. 20 seconds. Yes. Did your dress cost more than most people in Queens make in a month? I didn't pay for— Yes or no? Yes. Did you use campaign donations to fund your political operation while spending $70,000 on one night? Yes. Trump turned to the cameras. That's one scandal, folks. One example of the socialist socialite taking your money to party with the rich. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about what she drives, what she lives in, how she spends while she lectures you about capitalism being evil. AOC's hands were trembling visibly. Trump smiled. That's round 1. The dress. Maria's $50, your donations funding her lifestyle. If you're one of those donors, share this. Let everyone see what their contributions bought. Because it wasn't fighting for workers, it was fighting for her image. Keep watching. Trust me, it gets so much worse. The audience roared approval, chanting, Trump! 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 Trump was pacing again, building momentum. Let me tell you about the people in AOC's district. Working families, not the activists from Brooklyn. The actual people who live in Queens. They see you every day. They see what you drive. They see where you live. They see how you spend. And then they hear what you preach. Socialism, abolish billionaires, tax wealth out of existence. And meanwhile, you're living like one. AOC tried to interrupt. I fight for the people who clean your building. Trump's voice cut through her. The people who maintain your property, the people who serve you at restaurants. They drive old cars, Alexandria, 15-year-old Hondas, rust on the doors, whatever still runs to get them to work. You know what you drive. She didn't answer. A Tesla, a $50,000 Tesla. Electric car, very progressive, very environmentally friendly, very hypocritical. The audience murmuring, some supporters looking uncomfortable. $50,000 is 2 years of salary for some people. People work 2 full years to earn what you spent on a car. While you lecture them about greed, he turned to the audience. How many people here drive a car worth more than $10,000? Raise your hands. Maybe 10 hands went up out of 400. See that? Those are the people you represent. The 98% who drive cars worth less than 10 grand. And you're in the 2% driving a Tesla, telling them capitalism is the problem. He spun back to AOC. How much did your Tesla cost? I needed reliable transportation. How much? Her voice was small. Around 50,000. 50,000, Trump repeated slowly. And the people in your district, what do they drive? She tried an academic deflection. This is a false equivalence. Transportation needs vary. No, Trump's voice was final. This is called reality. You preach socialism and drive a car worth more than they make in 2 years, while telling them that cars are killing the planet. Unless it's your Tesla, then it's fine. AOC's breathing had gotten shallower. I deserve success, too. I worked hard. I'm allowed to. Of course you deserve success, Trump pounced. Under capitalism, the system you want to destroy. That's the hypocrisy. She wants socialism for you, capitalism for her. The booing started again. Trump wasn't done. You live in a luxury apartment, $2,600 a month in Navy Yard. You know what working families in Queens pay? The same amount for a studio in a dangerous neighborhood with broken elevators. But they pay the same rent you do for a tenth of the space. You shop at Whole Foods, post about it on Instagram. Expensive organic food. People in your district shop at dollar stores while you lecture them about corporate greed. AOC's knuckles were white. You got elected by pretending to be one of them, the bartender from the Bronx. And the second you got power, you became exactly what you claimed to oppose. Rich, entitled, out of touch, living in luxury, while preaching about sacrifice for everyone else. AOC's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. In the real world, Trump continued, you don't get to preach about income inequality while driving a $50,000 car. You don't get to attack the rich while becoming one. Unless you're AOC, unless you're the socialist socialite, unless you're a fraud who never actually believed any of it. The studio was on its feet. 300 people roaring. AOC sat there, shrinking. Trump looked at the cameras. That's 2 rounds. The Met Gala while working people starve. The Tesla while preaching socialism. Share this. Let everyone see the real AOC, the one who lives like the elite while attacking the elite. He opened another folder. Now, let's talk about the jobs she killed, the families she destroyed. 5,000 of them, all gone because AOC needed Twitter likes. Trump's energy shifted to real anger. Amazon wanted to come to New York, to Queens, build a headquarters, create jobs. 25,000 jobs. Think about that. 25,000 families getting paychecks, health care, opportunities. And AOC, she said, no, she killed it. She celebrated on Twitter. We stopped Amazon like she'd won something. You know who lost? The 25,000 people who needed those jobs. The single parents working retail who could have gotten careers. All gone because you wanted to look tough for activists who've never struggled a day in their lives. AOC tried to mount a defense. Amazon refused to pay fair. $80,000. Trump's voice exploded. 85,000? That's what those jobs paid. People in your district make 30,000. You just denied them a $55,000 raise. He scanned the crowd. How many people here applied for Amazon jobs or knew someone who did? Maybe 60 hands went up, people who'd hoped Amazon would give them a chance. Trump pointed at them. See that? Those are the people you hurt. Not Amazon, not Jeff Bezos. Them. Real people who believed you'd help them. And you killed their opportunities for tweets. One Hispanic man stood up, shaking. I applied for operations manager $80,000. I was going to move my family out of our apartment. Better neighborhood for my kids. Others stood. I applied for tech support. I applied for warehouse supervisor. A chorus of lost hopes. Trump walked toward the standing section. You killed it. For what? For applause from people who don't need jobs. For Twitter followers who think opposing corporations makes you brave. You know what's amazing about AOC? She's never created a job. Not one. Never ran a business. Never made payroll. But she knows better than everyone who's actually created jobs. He turned back to her. She was crying now. She knows you don't need those jobs because she doesn't need any of that. She's got hers under capitalism. The chanting started low. Where are the jobs? Then louder. Where are the jobs? AOC put her hands over her ears. There will be other opportunities, Trump mocked her previous statement. Well, guess what? There weren't. Those 60 people are still working jobs that pay a third of what Amazon would have paid. He looked at the camera. AOC decided, not them, her. And they're the ones who paid the price. Trump opened another folder. Now let's talk about her grandmother, about Puerto Rico, about fake stories and real suffering, about using your own family for fundraising, about $100,000 that went somewhere. Trump's voice got colder. This one crosses a line. Using your own grandmother for political fundraising. Exploiting your family for money. That's low. He held up a photo AOC posted on social media. Her grandmother's house in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. It looked destroyed. Then he held up another photo. Same house, same time, different angle. House is fine. Roof is good. Grandmother's not in crisis. The house isn't destroyed. AOC needed a story, so she exaggerated. She lied. She used her own grandmother as a prop, and people sent money, over $100,000 to help. The studio was silent. Except the grandmother didn't need help. So where did that $100,000 go? AOC tried to speak. Various Puerto Rican causes. Which causes? Show us the receipts. You raised money for your grandmother who didn't need it. Where did it go? She couldn't answer. You know who did need help? Real Puerto Rican families who actually lost everything. They watched you post about your grandmother and thought, finally, someone who cares. Then they found out it was fake. Trump walked to the side. How many people here are from Puerto Rico? Did any of you get help from AOC's fundraising? Heads shaking. Not one person got help. One woman stood up. My family lost everything. Business gone. We got nothing while she raised money off a fake story. AOC had her face in her hands, sobbing. You committed fraud, Trump said. In the real world, people go to jail for that. But you're in Congress, so you just get re-elected. Or you used to. He picked up the final folder. One more. Your big plan. Your Green New Deal. The $93 trillion fantasy that would destroy millions of jobs. Trump clapped his hands together. 93 trillion. That's more money than has ever existed in the history of money. She wants to eliminate oil. Gone. Retrofit every building in America in 10 years. I've built buildings. It takes years just to get permits. But AOC is going to rebuild every building in America in 10 years? Sure. And she wanted to ban cows. Cows. Because cows produce methane. I don't know what we're supposed to eat, but the cows have to go. The audience laughed. But here's what's not funny. You know who pays the price? Real businesses. He turned to the crowd. How many own small businesses? About 100 hands went up. Under the Green New Deal, how many survive? Every hand went down. Exactly. 0. Because her plan makes your entire way of doing business illegal overnight. A man in his 60s stood up. My family has an HVAC company. 60 years, 3 generations. We'd have to spend $800,000 to retrofit. We don't have $800,000. We'd have to close. 20 employees, all unemployed. Trump pointed at him. That's the real cost. 3 generations of work gone because someone who's never run a business decided she knows how to regulate them out of existence. Trump picked up papers. You know what this is? This is your FAQ document. The one you posted with the Green New Deal and then deleted when people started asking questions. He read slowly. Quote, "We aren't sure how to pay for it." Quote, "Implementation details are unclear." Quote, "Timeline may not be feasible." You posted this. You admitted it was impossible. But you proposed it anyway because it sounds good to people who don't understand economics. You don't care because you never intended it to pass. You just wanted applause from activists who've never worked a real job. The audience erupted. AOC sat there, head down, empty, broken. That's all 5 folks. The Met Gala, the Tesla, killing Amazon jobs, fundraising fraud, and the Green New Deal fantasy. That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the socialist socialite, someone who takes from working people to fund her luxury lifestyle, someone who destroys jobs while claiming to fight for workers. Share this everywhere, because this is what socialism really looks like. Elites living in luxury while preaching sacrifice to everyone else. The audience roared, "Trump! Trump! Trump!" AOC was motionless. The video went viral before the show ended. 100 million views by the end of the week. Socialist socialite became her permanent nickname. Conservative media celebrated. Liberal media struggled to find a defense. AOC's office stopped answering phones by midnight. Her approval rating in Queens dropped from 64% to 33% overnight. A primary challenger announced at midnight, an actual union electrician born and raised in Queens. His slogan, "A real worker versus the fake socialist." Fundraising exploded. The money that used to go to AOC now went to her opponent. Maria, the donor, became a national figure and bought her own small house in Queens with money raised by conservative group. The 25,000 families affected by Amazon formed a group called Jobs AOC Killed. Puerto Rican community leaders called for her resignation. Small business owners endorsed her challenger. Progressive organizations started distancing. AOC's staff quit in a mass exodus. Her office in Queens closed for renovations. She was hiding. Speaking invitations were canceled. Her book deal was canceled. A Netflix documentary about her was canceled. Trump's approval ratings climbed. Queens taught the bartender a lesson, he said. AOC hadn't appeared publicly since the debate. Primary polling showed her losing by 32 points. The brand was dead. Her Wikipedia page was updated. Former U.S. representative, known for controversial policies and lifestyle contradictions. The bartender from the Bronx was always fake. The working-class hero was always a fraud. It just took Trump, Queens meeting Queens, to expose it. Truth wins. Reality wins. Working people win. America wins. Trump delivered the lesson, and nobody forgot. The socialist socialite got schooled. Smash that like button. Share this everywhere. Let them see what happens when reality meets fantasy, when business meets bartending. Subscribe, because there are plenty more where she came from. Bernie, Ilhan, the whole squad, living the same lies. This is just round 1. See you in the next one. Justice doesn't sleep. Reality doesn't stop.